is a very famous nice pshat in the Megillah Esther. It says that when the daughter of Haman spilled junk on Haman, so then Haman was Ovel v'chafui rosh. What happened? She spilled on him. She saw it was Haman. She jumped off. So what happened first? Was he chafui rosh or was he Ovel? When she jumped off, right, and she killed herself, that what came after his head was covered, right? So why is it Ovel v'chafui rosh? But according to Taisus, it makes sense because what did she spill on him? She spilled an even on him. She spilled an even on him. When's it chal? Right? Only when it hits her. But when she jumped off, that was she jumping off. So she jumped off the Basa Mikara. So it was Ovel, even though the Maise, the Chafui Rosh, happened when she's was the Ovel, the Chafui Rosh. On the Ovel, we go Basa Mikara. On the Chafui Rosh, that's only when it happened. Will we? No. Let Avi speak, and let him bring it up meanwhile. And Avi will speak, and we'll have one more. We'll have a break after Avi speaks, before we get to hear the Elder Bochum speak. We'll have another Bocher from the second year. Also, Baruch Hashem, Mamish from the Bochum who are steiging the Yeshiva. And we wanted to give everybody a spus from every city. We had from Chicago, we had from New York, we had from London. Now we're having somebody from the Durham. It says the person wants to be smart. I wrote to the Hachkim Yadrim, because the Menorah is in Durham. So therefore we have one from the Talmidei Chachamim for the Durham. Avi Nash will give us Divrei Torah.
I want to first say thank you also to Rabbi Sasna. So, first Gemara in the fourth parak, first Mishnah says, Shor Chanukah Arba V'Chadish Shmarim Zeh Shazeh Yishalim V'Achim Shalem V'Im Yesh B'Moser Yachzer L'Shalifana V'Im Yesh B'Moser Yachzer L'Shalifnepana V'Achar Nachar Nisker Divrei B'Nei. The Mishnah says that a shore that gores 4 or 5 times, a short time, one after the other, the din is that you pay the last nizik first from the value of the shore. And if there's any value left in the goof of the shore, you'll pay the second to last, and then the third to last, and the fourth to last, and so on. So now, the Gemara's first question on this is based on the machlokas in what's the pshat in the payment of a short time. So machlokas tanaim that Rabbi Shmuel says the pshat is that the nizik becomes a balchov, and it's just that he has a shibud on the goof of the shore to collect his chov. Whereas according to Rabbi Kiva, it's not that it's a balchov; it's mamish that the nizik becomes a shutuf with the baal in the goof of the shore, depending on the value of the hezek and the value of the shore. That's what he'll get in the shore. So the first Gemara says. It sounds like that our Mishnah doesn't fit like either one of these Tanaim. Because if we'll say that it's Rabbi Shmuel, that pshat is that he's a Baal Chov, so then why would the first one be the one to get payment first? If anything, the first one to get damaged was the first one to become the Baal Chov, and then the second one, and then the third one. So if anything, it should go backwards. The first one should be the one to get paid, and if there's any extra, then go to the second one and third one, and so on and so forth. And if we'll say that it's Rabbi Akiva, that it's pshat is that it's shutfis, so then regardless of the value of the shore, and regardless of the hezek, they each become shutfim in the shore. Because for example, if Ruvain's shore damages Shimon's shore, assuming they're equal value, and now Ruvain and Shimon are both 50-50 owners in Ruvain's shore, and that shore were to go and gore Levi's shore, they both owe Levi 50%. Levi would now be owner 50%, and Ruvain and Shimon would retain 25 and 25. And so on and so forth. Each nizik would still retain a percentage in the shore. So why would it then be that you pay the last one, and if there's any extra, you pay the second to last one? They each own a percentage, and that's what they'll get in the goof of the shore. So, Miman Afshach, the mission doesn't feel like either one. So the Gemara answers, Rava answers, that no, really we're going in Rabbi Shmuel. Pshat is that he is a Baal Chol. And that which we were bothered by, why doesn't the first guy get paid first? Here, when we make a new kimta, we're dealing in a specific case where the nizik was toifes the shore. His payment, he wants to get his payment, he's toifes the shore. And the din is that he becomes like a shomer sachar over the shore. Now that he's like a shomer sachar over the shore, he's the one that has to guard it. And when it goes ahead and damages nizik number 3, he's the one that's responsible to pay for the damages, not the Baal. So then nizik number 3 is toifes, and so too number 4 and number 5, and that's how we get the achron nisker, the last one will be the one to gain. So as the Gemara, if that's true, why would we say im yesh bo moser, if there's any value in the guf of the shore, it go back to the second to last one? If anything, it should go back to the Baal. Because Bishlama before, when we were working under the assumption that all the hezek happened under the Baal, so okay, so he has to pay for all the hezek, and he'll be the last one. But now that we say that the first nizik was toifes, and he becomes a shomer sachar, that first payment is the only one that the Baal's mechoyev for. He won't be mechoyev for the payments of number 3, number 4, number 5. So the meiser should go back to him, not to the second to last nizik. So says the Gemara, when we say meiser, we don't mean the value in the guf of the shore. The value that the Baal owns for sure goes back to the Baal. What we mean by meiser is the meiser bin nezikin, the extra value in the nezikin. That which the shomer gets paid for his nezikin, that which he's trying to be toifes, when he goes and has to pay the hezek that he causes, if there's any value left, if the hezek he causes is less, so the value in the nezikin will go back to him. So if nizik number 4 got damaged hezek of 100 zuz, and then he goes ahead and does damages of 50 zuz, he'll pay the 50 zuz, and the other 50 zuz will go back to him. But avada, the value that the Baal has in the shore goes back to the Baal. So says Tosas, we see that the yisod, from the yisod of the Gemara is that you're paying, the shomer is paying from his chelik in the shore, that which he owns in the shore, because of the nezik that was caused to him. So says Tosas, the simplest way to set up the sugya would be to say that all of the nezik was equal, so therefore all the nezik is getting passed from person to person. The first nezik is toifes, and he, let's say, owns 100 zuz in the shore. He does nezik of 100, so he gives it off to the next person, and so on and so forth, till the 5th person, and the 5th person will be the one to gain. It says Tosfos, if that's the yisod, if we were to change up the values, then we'd come to different conclusions. Because, for example, if the value of the nezik done to number 4 was equal to number 5, so if the whole yisod is that you're paying from your chelik, so number 4 will have to give up his chelik to number 5, and the meiser bin nezikin will actually go to number 3. Since the whole yisod is that you're paying from your chelik, once you pay from your chelik, that's it. So if the value of the nezik done to number 4 is the same as number 5, so then he'll give up his whole chelik to number 5, and the meiser and the nezikin will go to number 3. And so too, says Tosfos, we can go even a step further. It can come out, if not that the value of number 4 and number 5 are equal, but what if the value of number 4 is even less than the value that is owed to number 5? So if the whole yisod is that you're paying from your chelik in the shore, in this case, the 5th nizik will end up losing out. He can only get as much as the chelik that the guy before him has. Since the nezik done to number 4 is less than the nezik done to number 5, so even though there's more value in the guf of the shore, he'll come short in his payment of the nezik, and the 5th person will be the one to lose out. That's Tosfos, and the Marsha and the Shilta Giborim ask on Tosfos, and they say that, I don't understand. On Daf Memamad Aleph, in the Shakel of Itaria there in the Gemara comes to the conclusion that the din of a short town by a shomer, the payment is that the nizik can collect from the whole guf of the shore, regardless of what chelik the shomer has in it, even if the shomer has absolutely no chelik in it. In your classic case of a shomer where you're just giving it to him to watch, there the nizik collects from the whole guf of the shore. He collects his full payment that's owed to him, and the shomer will be the one responsible to pay the Baal for the loss that he caused him. But why would the nizik ever lose out? And that's the din. So says the Marshan, the Shilta Giborim, we should say the same thing here. The 5th guy, why should he lose out? He should collect his full payments from the guf of the shore. And the 4th guy should be responsible to pay for the people losing out. Why would we say that he can only collect up to the chelik that the 4th guy has in it? Pashtus, the din of a shomer is that you can collect from the whole guf of the shore, and the shomer will be responsible for the loss. So this is the Marsha and the Shilta Giborim's kasha, and they leave it as a tzarchiyah. Now the Shach in Siman Taf Aleph, wants to be miyashiv and says that it's the kasha doesn't even begin. Lo kasha midi, the kasha of the Maharsham should be born because there's a very simple chiluk. On daf mem amud aleph, where we're saying that you collect from the whole guf of the shore, that's only when the Baal was meiser the animal to the person midaitu. He gave it to him. That's where we say that the shomer can pay with the guf of the shore, and the nizik will collect his whole nizik. But in our case, we're dealing in a case where the nizik was toifis at bal korchach of the Baal. Since he was toifis at bal korchach of the Baal, here you can only collect from his chelik, and you won't be able to collect from the Baal's chelik. Why? Says the Shach, because the Baal have a simple claim of anusim hayinu. This animal was taken to us by force, but was taken from us by force, and therefore you can collect from our chelik. And says the Shach, just like we said in Hakoinis, on Daf Nun Vav Amud Bais, we said a case of Yitzroel listim. We said that the Bailim will be Pturim. Why? Because they have a claim of Anusim Hayim. The listim were the ones that took it out. When the animal goes on and does damages, because of the listim, the Bailim can claim Anusim Hayim. So that's the chiluk the Shach gives to be Miyashiv Tosfos, and he says that the Kasha doesn't even begin. Mem Amud Aleph is different because he was Meiser Midaitu, and here it's Balkorach. So the Ketzos in Siman Taf Aleph argues with the Shach and says that if anything we see fakert from the Mishnah and from the Gemara HaKohanim. Because over there both Tosfos himself and the Rashba agree that Pshat and Bailim Pturim isn't that they're patur like the Shach's understanding of Pashtas, but rather that of course the Nizik can collect from the whole guf of the shore. It's just that the listim will be chayiv to pay the Baal for the loss that they caused them. Same thing that we say by Shomer. The nizik can collect from the whole guf of the shore, and the listim will be chayiv to pay the Baal. So says the Ketzos, the Shach's chiluk is gone. We see whether it's given midayite or whether it's taken bal korchach. The din is that the nizik can collect from the whole guf of the shore. So back to square one. Why here would we say that the fifth nizik will lose out just because the chalik of the fourth guy is less? Let him collect from the whole guf of the shore, and let the fourth guy be responsible to pay for the nizik, to pay for the loss that is caused to the Baal. So, in order to answer this, we really first have to answer, in order to miyashiv this, we really first have to answer a more fundamental question in this area, which is, when we say that a shomer can pay from the guf of the shore, why is that true to begin with? We're letting him pay for a chiyuv that belongs to him from a shore that doesn't belong to him. Meichatesi, he has the right to pay with the shore. And really, the same question by listim, the same parallel question. Why would the listim be allowed to pay from the guf of the shore for a chiyuv that belongs to them when the shore doesn't belong to them? So in this, Rav Chaim, in the first piece in this Kimamon, says that pshat by a shomer, we're going to have to say, is that when the Baal is meiser, the guf of the shore, to the shomer, in that Mesira, he is also makna a schia in the shore to pay for the nizikin. So the shomer actually becomes, in a certain respect, an owner of this shore to pay for the nizikin. Therefore, he has the right to pay for this, and he'll be responsible for what he caused the Baal to lose. And similarly, we can say by listim. There, by listim, we said it's dafka a case where you were stealing it. So we'll say that because you have kinyani geneva in the shore, you also have some sort of an ownership in the shore, and therefore you have the right to pay with this guf of the shore and be responsible to pay the Baal back. So this is pshat in both of these gemaras. Then it will come out the Shach's chiluk will come out very good, and Tosas will come out very gishmak. Because what's the Shach saying? When do we say that you can have the right to pay from the guf of the shore by a shomer? That's only if the Baal was meiser to you midaitu. That's when the Baal was makna to you this schia in the shore in order to be able to pay with the shore. But where you were toifis bal korchach, you never got this schia. So mehechatesi, you should be able to pay with the guf of the shore. And on the other hand, we can't say that you're a ganav like by hakoinis, because you're coming to collect from a shibud that is owed to you because of the nizikin that were done to you. So memanafsha, you won't have the schia that a shomer normally has because you were toifis bal korchach. It wasn't given to you. And you won't have the kinyani geneva of a ganav because you're not coming to steal it. So memela, in this funny case, it'll come out that you'll only be able to pay from your chelik in the shore. If you're only able to pay from your chelik in the shore, so in a case where your chelik is smaller than the nizikin, they'll come out and the fifth nizik will lose out.
Everybody can take, we're having a break now, and the mitzvah will end up, we have Mordo and Yossi.